Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I found another Bulgarian workout for you guys, and wasn't as bad as yesterday as far as how I felt. Sometimes Thursdays just really hit me hard. Everything felt slightly heavy today. The squat felt kind of heavy, the bench felt a little heavy, but they weren't as heavy as they felt yesterday, so that's a little bit better. I would throw this back in the area of an average day, and this is, again, what we call everyday strength. Everyday strength, not psyched up, coming in calm, hitting your lifts. And that's what people need to realize with this form of training, particularly if you're wanting to do multiple exercises every day. You really have to keep the psyching up down to a minimum. And I know there are people who disagree with that. I mean, it looks like Bugenhagen, Jamie Lewis, those guys who do variations on this training style, they take it a little differently. They do look at pre-workouts and psyching up and hard metal. But there's other people who studied this with science backgrounds like Matt Perryman, who say you need to keep the psychological arousal low. And I've noticed there are some champions who train this way who seem very, very, very calm all the time when they do this. So there's something to be said for that. And ultimately what it comes down to is, again, this is your everyday strength. That's how this system works. You are coming in and you are hitting challenging singles that are challenging for you on a day-to-day basis, right? These aren't true 1 rep maxes. And I would argue, some people would say, look, you could be hitting, some people, the Bulgarians did it. Yeah, but this is a different form. This is called Bulgarian as a slang term. This isn't true Bulgarian training, and everyone who does this has to explain that a lot. We need to make that point clear. This is basically coming in and hitting daily training maxes or daily minimums. It might be a better way to put it so that we get rid of that term max, because people come up with the difference. You got to understand the difference between a training max and a true max. These are training maxes. The training maxes usually tend to be somewhere in the range of 90, maybe up to 95% of a true max. In other words, if you psyched yourself up, any one of these lifts you could probably hit for a double or a triple fresh. But the point is that what we know from all the data out there, going above 90%, even for a single, doesn't seem to cause any more strength gain. And that's the rather important point here. Not that you aren't training hard, because believe me, guys, yes, this sort of training doesn't take a long time to do, but it's hard. And it's hard to recover from. If it wasn't hard to recover from, everyone would do it. People are scared to do this type of training. So don't let anyone convince you of that. Sorry about that. The bed somehow, because I put a bed frame back under that bed. I got a new one. It's risen quite a bit. It's kind of in the frame, and I didn't realize it when I set the camera up for the bench pressing till afterwards. So it'll be okay. But that's kind of the point with all this, though, guys. That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to gain continual strength, hitting your daily numbers. But the thing is, guys, don't let anyone convince you that this form of training is easy, because it really isn't. Anyone who said that hasn't done it, at least for any length of time. Trust me, it's not easy, guys. And even though I enjoy it and I would much rather train this way than any other way, there are days when I dread it, which brings me to another point. I'm getting that feeling on the squat. It's like people are like, well, you made that 10-pound jump again. Yeah, I did. But I'm feeling it. And I can tell these 5-pound jumps are about to come to a close. I legitimately, at this point, as much as I look at it and go, man, 5 more weeks and I'll be at my goal, that 500 every day. I'll be happy if I reach that by my DEXA scan. That's 11 weeks away. I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with 10 weeks, guys. I have a feeling I'm going to get 1 or 2 more 5-pound jumps, and I'm going to have to micro-load. And that's the fact of the matter, guys. You got to keep your ego in check with this style of training. Those jumps need to be conservative. I've pushed this pretty far. I pushed it pretty far. In 6 weeks' time, 7 weeks, I don't know. I'd need to count on camera. I've put 40 pounds on my daily squat. You guys got to keep in mind, I'd only gone to 435 that week. I'd previously been doing 425 for about 2.5, 3 weeks. I started with 405 on this. I didn't go to this system of training till I got a 405 squat again after the 2 years off from squatting. So I've basically, in this time frame, have put 70 pounds on my daily squat in about 12 weeks. I can't keep going at this rate. Like, I'm feeling it. I'm getting to where, even though the squats aren't super heavy, like today wasn't super heavy, I'm getting to where I dread it some days. And it's because I can tell I'm pushing that progression a little bit hard. I've got microplates though. You know, it's going to go to a point coming up to where I have to go to 2.5 pound jumps. And once I start deadlifting again, which is going to happen probably pretty soon, you know, shortly after we get to the 500 every day, I might have to go to 2.5 pound jumps every 2 weeks. Then eventually it might drop to every month, you know. We'll see where it goes. We'll see how the deadlift strength and the deadlifting affects it. But I'm going to have to prepare for that, you know. I know that my hamstrings, I feel like my hamstrings have atrophied. My quads have blown up. Brittany was noticing that. My quads, she's like, you've added a couple inches to your thighs. She's like, wow, that's ridiculous. So we might have to do some videoing of that later on too. As I get a little leaner, I think you guys will be shocked at the amount of quad growth I've gotten. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to really get my ego in check there. I mean, I've made a pretty good run of this rapid increase, but it's going to start slowing down. All right, that's just a simple reality. I can feel it. I've run this training system before. But yeah, I know those 5 pound jumps are coming to a close. It's going to be 2.5 pound jumps coming up real soon. Real soon. And it could be as soon as one more jump. So I've started throwing in the stuff with the body weight on the chin-ups. Because some people said, man, that's not, you're only doing the plus 90. Okay, so I'm 237 right now. So that's 327 pound chin-ups twice a day. Twice a day. So that's what I do for 2 different sessions. I think that's pretty reasonable. Like I said, I'm treating the chin-up like a primary exercise. I think it's a truly valuable exercise. And you guys know I love barbell lifts. I love barbell lifts. But, you know, the chin-up, I don't know. I think it's an invaluable exercise. I think normally I'm not a fan of exercises that don't use a barbell. I'm really not. I think most non-barbell exercises are misallocation of resources in terms of what they bring to the table. Chin-up is an exception to that rule. Actually, I'd say the chin-up, the dip, and maybe the glute ham raise, if they're all weighted. I think they're all exceptions to that rule. They bring a lot of potential to the table. The glute ham raise is a little more specialized. They bring a lot to the table. 5th day in a row doing a 225 strict press. 5th day in a row. Those are getting nice and strong. I'm happy because those have been pretty consistent while dropping weight. You know, like I said, that's an important lift to me too. I mean, everyone's always like, Jason, all you care about is the big 3. You're just into powerlifting. Like, no, guys, I care about some of these other lifts because I think these lifts are invaluable. I think they bring so much to the table in terms of overall strength, overall development to your musculature, that I think the standing press and the chin-up should be part of every single person's routine, even if you're a power lifter, even if your goals are the big 3. I think these lifts bring a lot to the table. They really do. And I think they're worthy of being included in most people's Bulgarian type splits. You know, if I had to say, if you wanted to narrow it down to 5 exercises to get enormous amounts of strength and development through your entire body, squat, bench, and deadlift, the standing press, and the weighted chin up. And that's what would change a lot of people's look. You know, a lot of people talk about the whole power lifter look, or they don't like it or whatever. But what happens when you add the standing press and the weighted chin up? Think about what they do, what muscles they work in terms of aesthetic balance. I mean, most power lifters who you guys think of as unaesthetic, if they just lost all their fat and got good at these 2 lifts, I think people would be surprised at how they'd look. In fact, I mean, I'm losing fat now. We'll see how I look when I get all this fluff off. Because I've got decent strength on these 2 exercises. I mean, I chin basically 330 pounds every day. I strict press 225 every day. So it could kind of be interesting to see in the long term. I'll lose another 20 pounds of body fat, which is probably going to need to happen. I mean, to hit my DEXA scan numbers, I'm going to have to do that. And, you know, we'll assess from there. Other people are like, what's your long-term goal? I don't know. How about I set short-term goals and keep resetting short-term goals, right? I've said I want to be 15% body fat on my third DEXA scan. And if I do them 90 days apart, that's going to be towards the end of the year, right? That's what I want to be at. I feel like I've got my diet coming along nice. I've got it on point. I found methods that work, and we'll take it from there. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see, as a perfect example of a power lifter who has put a lot of effort into these two very aesthetic improving lifts. Be curious to see what I look like. I'll probably never look like an amazing bodybuilder, but I don't want to. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.